and the Blue Mountain College spawners and learners. Give these ladies a big round of applause. Working harder than anybody in this competition.
Thank you, ladies.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to day 2 of the 2024 USA Powerlifting Youth Bench and Equipped National Championships here in beautiful Greenville, South Carolina. I almost said North Carolina for the second day in a row. My name is Nick Stevens. I'm a USAPL competitor, coach, commentator, referee, man of many hats in the sport. And for this morning's session, I'm joined by the one and the only
Jandario. All the above.
Jandario, technical director, technical chair, is that your official title?
Technical manager.
Technical manager.
Technically.
For all of USA Powerlifting. So the team that he's assembled together with Barbell Productions, Bryce Lewis, and the rest of the media crew are responsible for the beautiful live stream, all the awesome angles, transitions, and everything that y'all are going to see throughout this weekend. So this is day 2 of the competition. Day 1, day 1 was all of our youth lifters, and then the start of our bench competition with our equipped bench only. And then so today is all of our raw bench only for session 1 and session 2. Session 1 is going to be all of our ladies. Session 2 is going to be all of our men.
Actually, no, we do have some lightweight men.
There we go.
Yep.
So we're going to have a nice little mix.
We both have that for sure.
Right.
Oh, we're off and rolling, man. The clock's rolling. Here, we're just talking. All right.
That's what we do. We just professionally.
I guess the bar's loaded.
Here's Maria Sargent, Team 3 lifter. Easy opener at 93 pounds.
Uh-oh.
But that is going to be a no lift. So before we didn't even get to finish our intro before we got into the whole rules of the game and all that fun stuff. But real quick.
Skip that and go into the rules.
Yeah. So for the bench press there are 3 commands. So you got the start, the press, and the rack command. You do have to wait for the head referee to give you those commands verbally and clearly before you are to continue to the next command.
You have to have your feet firmly planted flat on the floor, your butt on the bench, shoulders obviously need to be on the bench. That's kind of a given.
Right.
Your head can be up now, so that is actually a thing that we've changed. And once you get the bar off in your hands and your elbows are locked out, the chief will give you that start command to commence your lift, or to start your lift.
Here's Dana Bland, 121 pounds. And now, folks, go ahead. Yeah, self-on rack, which is not something you see very often.
No. Nice controlled descent, nice.
And I wonder if it's something where she's trained without a handoff.
Possibly. Maybe trains at home or something like that.
And folks, we've got, so this session is only bench press. So unlike most full power sessions, there isn't a squat before this, and there's not going to be a deadlift session after this. So once our lifters complete their 3 benches, they are done for this session. Now, they have the opportunity to come back later for the equipped portion if that is something that they've signed up for. But once they do this, they're all set to go.
There is, we had a couple of people that competed yesterday in the equipped bench session who are competing in full power tomorrow. Obviously, these athletes could compete as an equipped lifter with a raw total, so I'm sure that we'll probably see a couple of them there tomorrow. If not, well, maybe not today, but probably tomorrow.
Here's Kayla Cobelli.
Wow. I love the deliberate descent and like keeping the bar in control so you don't hit your chest and it bobbles and you get that really slow press command.
Right, and so you're a referee yourself. Is that one of the main things you're looking for, especially?
Yeah, you want a nice controlled descent. Once that bar hits, press. And a lot of people will, I say a lot of people will use that really fast down, and when the bar hits your chest, it will literally sway up, down until it kind of settles. And everybody wants to say that, oh, well, why is that press command so long? The literal written rule says bar must remain motionless on your chest.
Yep.
So
That includes the whole bar.
the whole of the bar, correct. Yep. So a lot of referees are very, very much a stickler to that, and they'll actually really wait for that thing to be motionless. And some are a little bit like, good, that's a little bit more of a faster descent. But again, she just stayed in control of the bar all the way down.
And you talked about that slow, not necessarily slow, but the controlled descent. We were talking yesterday about how myself and a couple of my commentators yesterday were coaches, and we teach our athletes, you want to bring the bar down as fast as you can control it to that immediate dead stop motion, right? If you can bring it down super fast, but you're bouncing everywhere, like Jan said, you're not going to get that press command until the bar is completely motionless.
And that's a frustration point with a lot of lifters.
Exactly. People think that once they get to the chest, that's it.
Yeah.
But no, it needs to be completely stopped. The bar can't be swaying, tilting, shaking, anything like that. Coming up next is Miss Maggie McGuire, one of our Teen 2 lifters. So she's between the ages of 16 and 17. She's going to be opening with 170 pounds.
Come on. Wow. What'd she miss? Oh, well, we couldn't see that, obviously, from our view, but.
Yep, and so that's an important note for our viewers here. Both Jan and I are we're only seeing your view. We don't get an extra platform view or anything like that.
Yeah,
yep,
it was
right there.
The elbows were in the way, but yeah, you could see it.
Yep. So we're only seeing this view, so we don't get any extra views or anything like that. So the best that y'all are seeing on the platform, we are also seeing on the platform. While we are both referees, we can kind of guesstimate what those calls might be. But frankly, we're relying on Gino.
We are, but I mean, if we see the infraction cards down there, we can kind of go, oh, yellow is butt or feet. Blue would, in this case, would be like an up and down or a heave or something of that sort. Oh, you know what that's going to be? Yep, missed the rack command. You can't rush that rack, folks. You have to wait, and you can see it. As soon as she gets to the top, she literally motions to the rack right there. She stopped it.
And I think she knew it as soon as she started moving. She moved back, and she was like,
She stopped it. All right, comes Brianna. I actually inputted her opener at 800 kilos by mistake.
Oh.
Yeah,
that would have been a bit of a surprise.
Right. She was a little bummed that I had her opening at 800 keys today.
Maybe next week.
I asked her if she could do 7, and she just shook that off. Said no.
For those of you at home that are not privy to the imperial units, 800 kilos is pretty close to about 1,700 pounds.
All day long.
Excellent exhibition there. Brianna Boardman, 176.
Nice. Strong Masters lifter right there.
And you alluded a little bit to the different color cards that we could see with the bench press. Let's talk about blue cards. Since those are arguably a little bit more commonly called?
So blue card would essentially be up and down on a bar or a heave, which is basically you're using the leverage of your body to move that bar. Essentially what will happen is as you get the start or the press command, you would pull the bar down a little bit and then use that force to press it up. And it's very noticeable from the chief because you can see it, the whole of the bar. The side referees can't see it, so most times the chief will give that card in lieu of the side left and right. They would probably give a good lift. But if you can, it's a very slight motion. Obviously, on the ascents, if you can't handle the load and you come down a little bit and then go all the way back up, then obviously blue card. Now, in USA Powerlifting, you can do uneven lockout. So you can actually have one arm lock out prior to the other. As long as they both lock out at the end, you're fine. Another thing that the chief is looking for, not in relation to the blue card, but they want to make sure that you start where you end. So as you unrack the bar before you get that start command, they're going to look at your elbows to see where you start versus where you end. So if you start all the way extended and you don't finish extended, they're gonna call you on that as well. Again, side chairs can't see that, depending upon where they're sitting, but that's a perfect example of start and stop, same exact spot.
Katie DeGuider, my co-host for last night's
That's right.
equipped bench. She's out here today putting on a showcase for the raw bench. Golly.
Like nothing, too.
Quick shout out to TSS for providing the beautiful platform equipment this weekend.
It's funny you say that. I'm looking at the inside of the plate, and it's got so many fingerprints on it. If they do another shot of that, watch it. It's like just fingerprints all over the place. I'm sure it's not in the cards for somebody to go see it.
Oh, yeah.
To polish them, because they would look really nice all shined up, but
I actually kind of like it a little bit faded like that. It gives a little bit of an aged look.
rustic.
Here's Christy Rice, Masters 1. This is 198 pounds, so at 60 kilos body weight. So we're talking barely 130 pounds, already putting up 200 for her bench press opener.
Nice soft touch there, too.
Could have been 100. Coming up next, Miss Rachel Hannon. We are now past the 200-pound mark. Rachel Hannon's going to be going for 95 kilos for 209 pounds. While she's getting set up, let's do a quick rundown of all of our sponsors and all the folks that have helped make this meet possible. Obviously, want to give a quick shout out to A7 Demand Greatness for being one of our primary and presenting sponsors for our championships this weekend. Beautiful press there by Rachel.
Wow.
I'm going to give some recognition as well to Renaissance Periodization, one of the USAPL Platinum sponsors. Revolution Screen Printing for providing all of our meat t-shirts and meat apparel for the weekend. Spud Inc. and Titan Strength Systems for being some of our sponsors as well. And then obviously we want to give a shout out to Barbell Productions, Bryce Lewis, Jan Dario, Kevin Lamb, and all the rest of the crew for providing the literally phenomenal views that you all are seeing on the platform
We've got
today.
a lot of cameras out there, that's for sure.
Some of the angles yesterday were phenomenal. I love it.
So I know Bryce and Zach were playing with, all right, so can we replay from two cameras? And you probably saw that. And they would do replays, and they would go one, cut to the second. This is a test meet that we're using right now to see what we can do at prime time. Yeah, so we're throwing a lot of stuff in the sink right now to see how it'll.
Now Macy Avila there, right off the chest, had a little bit of a dip.
His butt came up? Let's see. I mean, the Chief didn't give him. Yep.
Okay, so
That's
the butt
minimal,
definitely
if
came
anything.
up.
Minimal, if anything. I mean, you saw daylight, but wow. Okay, that's not something that you really want on your opener?
I thought they were going to peg him for up and down motion, but obviously from this view, the referee probably saw it must have stopped. It never went back down, so that obviously wasn't a call. But the butt, that tells you we do have national level referees on the platform today. Cat 1, Cat 2. This is not their first rodeo.
Nope.
They've refereed multiple national level meets, so they know what they're looking for, and they know to uphold the standard at this high level.
Here's Jen opening at 275 pounds.
Ladies and gents, you're watching the GOAT, quite literally the GOAT of female powerlifting, and arguably one of the GOATs of all-time powerlifting, raw powerlifting, Miss Jennifer Thompson. She's going for her 40th national title.
Wow.
And is on beautiful track
That
to
looked
make
easy.
it 275 pounds. Most, like the vast majority of the raw population's top-end bench, she's hitting for an opener.
And making it look easy. Wow. All right, looks like we're back to the top here. Second
cruising.
round bench. Yeah, the spot ludicrous. They're actually cruising out there.
And we've got 3 flights yet?
Yeah, we got 3 flights today. I think we got 3 flights for both the raw bench session today.
Ooh, flight 3 is long.
Yeah. Problem is that last year at the NGB, they voted to disband the 20 lifter bench flight, which sucks for us because, I mean, we run a large
Right.
only meet.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
At the local level, not so much. And while I'm not going to say which way I voted for it, obviously I wasn't a fan of it, it hurts when we do this because we have to keep our caps at 15. And, you know, I would rather run 2 flights of 20 than 3 flights of you know, 12 or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm. It does make the meet go faster.
It does, because now, and it also keeps the warm-up room kind of in flux and in flowing. So you have now the people that are up versus the people that are actually warming up, and the people that are up ready to go, they're done. They're off the warm-up. They're off the warm-up equipment, and they're either sitting, waiting, pacing, waiting, or in the chute in some capacity. But when you have 3 flights going, you have a flight lifting, you have a flight getting warmed up, and you have a flight sitting. So it's, you know, we deal with it, but it's not optimal. No hate. We make do. We make do, right? I don't mean it. I'm not saying that I totally.
For sure.
I'm not a fan of it.
It's just a different dynamic we've got to get used to.
It just makes flighting a meet like this even more difficult, you know.
And Jan would know. He's the one that built the flights.
Yeah, blame me.
All right, here's Kayla Cobelli. We saw Maria Sargent is now on the board. She got that 42.5 opener. Here's a 2.5 kilo jump for Kayla.
She's got a nice tempo down. Holy moly. Good
Clean.
for her. Nice. Very clean.
Rocking the A7, one of the new pink colorways. Shout out A7 to Man Greatness.
She's all branded up. Got the shirt and everything.
Here's Dana Bland, our Team 3 lifter. Coming up next is Megan Schilling, then Maggie McGuire, and Kyla Brown. We also want to give a little bit of recognition to our spotter and loader team. They're from Blue Mountain College. I'm going to look up right now exactly where that's from.
I want to say Louisiana,
Mississippi.
Okay, there we go.
Yes, Blue Mountain, Mississippi. But Blue Mountain, they have been absolutely just
Lights out.
left me speechless yesterday for the amount of work that they've put in, and will continue to put in for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, they got a big crew here, so they got, you know, nobody's repeating a session, so they've got fresh bodies out there every session.
Good. And that's something we see happen quite often at these larger level meets, even some of the regional state level meets where you have a set group of maybe 5, 10 spotters, and they're there for the whole weekend. And while it does allow for a consistent platform experience, they are dog tired by the end of it.
Yes, they are. I know RIT was at the Open World Cup that I just ran a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
and they were there 2 days, 4 sessions in total, and they
Big fan of the RIT spotting team.
Yeah, they were lights out. It got to the point where they were so fast that we couldn't do the replay because the bar was loaded and it was being called loaded.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they had to kind of time it a little bit better to make it so that we could actually get a replay out there.
And that goes to show, I mean, the spotters and loaders do kind of set the pace for the meet.
100%.
The bar cannot be called loaded until the spotters finish loading or finish unloading and then reloading the bar. So the pace of the meet, the tempo is really dependent on them for a lot of it.
Yep. You were at Collegiates, right? You saw how we had.
I was at Collegiates.
Yeah, I mean, we had some rookie. RIT was there for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
OSU was back with a brand new team, and you know, we had some of the veterans like San Antonio and God, I can't even remember them now, but there was probably 7 or 8 teams in total, and when you sign up to do a meet like that, you bring a team of 12, and you got a team working a session, or resting a session, because it's 3 sessions for 4 days, and it's just bang, bang, bang.
It can be brutal.
Yeah.
We were at High School National just a few months ago, and even commentating those sessions back to back to back can be tough.
Yeah, it's long.
Can't imagine being a spotter and loader.
You doing all 8 sessions, you're a beast, man.
I just can't stop talking.
And you probably go home and don't talk to anybody. I know I wouldn't.
Nope.
No?
Nope. Destiny, if you're watching, sorry. Here's Kyla Brown. Got 176 on the bar for her. She's a 52-kilo lifter, so she is well, actually, let's see what she weighed in at. So she weighed in at 50.1, so she's about 110 pounds, give or take, and she's got 176 pounds in her hand for her second attempt.
Let's see if she goes for that double body weight bench. Oh, no. Yeah.
What'd you see there, Jen?
I don't, yeah, huh?
What'd you see?
I saw a hit the chest, go up, go back down to the chest, and then get a press command. So that was a little bit of everything. So, I mean, that would technically be a blue and a yellow card.
Mm-hmm.
So
It looked like she just kind of mistimed it,
Yeah,
if that's a thing.
yeah.
Like, it looked like once she got to the chest, it might have just been in a weird touch point. And that put her in a tough position to try and readjust. So this actually brings up an interesting point. So both Maggie and Kyla missed their openers and their second attempts. Now,
Oh.
in a full power meet, in a normal full power meet, that puts you at risk of what's called bombing out. So if you don't post a lift for any of the 3 power lifts, so let's say you miss all 3 of your benches, you are not able to then post a total, which means you are then not able to go for any placings or anything like that.
And
Now, oh, good.
actually, don't mean to interrupt.
No,
you.
you're good.
At the national level, at that competitive space, you have to go to the scoring table and tell them that you want to continue. Because if you don't, they will zero you out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I believe we added that rule. Somebody can fact check me, but I'm pretty sure.
I like that. Here's
mean,
Erin
so-
Hagen. That was a good lift, by the way.
It was, yes, it was a good lift. Very, very slow once she got to her as we call a sticky point, and you could tell where it was, and then the bar slowed down a lot.
Yep. But like I was saying, with the full power, you do, like I said, we are at risk of bombing out. But since this is bench only, you don't necessarily, quote-unquote, bomb out. It just means you don't post a bench. So that means you just won't be able to post any sort of number for this portion of the competition. Let's say let's say you're lifting equipped later on. You could still post a total then for the full power equipped, but unfortunately not for the bench portion.
Yeah, so we want to push for those two, Maggie and
Kyla.
We don't want to see people have 3 attempts and not make them. So.
Right.
And they're smart. They're not going up. So that's obviously a good thing.
Here's Katie DeGuider. Another coach, commentator, referee, another one of those folks that just does the business of powerlifting. And she's only 20 years old, so being able to do all of this at such a young age and being so dedicated to the sport of powerlifting,
I'm surprised
and
she
to
didn't
come back and
join-
put on a showcase.
She's only in the open. I'm surprised she didn't want to be a junior as well, or both.
Sometimes people are just built different.
Yeah.
Katie DeGuider is one of those that is built different. I mean, clearly, look at this bench. I've only seen 209 move that fast
Nice.
only a few times.
I think she was happy with it. At least she looked happy.
Let's check the replay here. Very high arch, very controlled technique. And that's something we might see going on to our third attempt benches here when you've got a super, super technical bench like that where you've got a really, really high arch and you've got a more complex setup. We're going to see the bar come off the chest a little bit slower and that lockout be a little bit easier. That's going to be the converse case for folks that have a little bit of a closer grip, a little bit of a less technical bench, where they're going to be a little bit stronger off the chest, but once they transition from the chest to the triceps, that's where they find that what you were calling the sticking point, and it's a little bit higher.
Okay.
So you saw there, Christy, a hair slow off the chest, but the lockout was smooth. Didn't necessarily slow down.
And
Very
sometimes
clean
your
lift.
sticky point could be off the chest.
My sticking point is the entire bench, so I'm just not good at it.
I mean, you have long arms, so it's not in your favor.
That's my excuse. All right, we've got Mr. Macy Avila. Looks like he's handled by the equipped bench press champion, Tim Anderson. Oh, sorry, Macy.
Correction. Tim Anderson, who actually, he won a bunch of stuff yesterday. He won money. He got to extend his pro card status.
He's in the Hall of Fame, too.
He's in the Hall of Fame. Midland coach, so he's going to have a bunch of athletes here tomorrow that are going to be competing. So shout out to Tim Anderson, always putting on a show on bench. Arnold competitor.
All right, so it looks like she got the replace command
I
there.
don't know what's happened there. No feet down or something?
The butt wasn't fully on the bench, which is interesting that you normally. Well, so are you able to? So you are able to unrack with the butt on the. So okay, never mind.
But I'm wondering if she didn't put it down enough. She's got less. 8, 7, 6. Here we go. She needs to get it. 4, 3, 2. She's never going to get this.
No, that's going to be a timeout.
Time.
So, folks, if you're watching on the screen, what happened there, this is actually the first instance of this happening for the entire prep. Hopefully we'll see Macy come back for that third attempt there. Unfortunately, she did miss her first 2 attempts, so she's going to likely retake that for her third. But what happened there is, folks, everyone, as soon as that bar is called loaded by that head referee, you've got 60 seconds on the clock for you to get the following start command.
Yep.
Right? So you don't have to press, you don't have to finish the lift or anything like that before the time runs out. You just have to get that start command before the time runs out.
60 seconds might seem like a lot, but
if you've got a setup,
if you have a setup, you could run 30 seconds off that clock easy.
Yep.
And there's some athletes who are they take a lot of time.
So we saw there, point proven there. Rachel Hannon, a little bit slower off the chest, but once she got past that sticking point, flew to lockout.
No problem. Oh, here comes JT.
Is Jen Thompson in the Hall of Fame yet?
Yes, I believe she is.
Okay, I feel like at some point, if she's not, she needs to be. Jen Thompson, out of North Carolina.
Handled by her husband.
Who also competed yesterday, Donovan Thompson.
I think he's competing today, too.
Looks like she's handled by.
Equipped, right? He competed equipped yesterday? Not bad.
Looks like she's handled by Jeff Snyder as well, who also competed in the equipped bench yesterday.
Oh yeah, Jen was a 2013 inductee.
2013, okay, so she's been here.
A decade at least.
Jen's been known to be one of the best.
What'd she jump?
She went to 314, which is a massive jump, ladies and gents.
Jump.
Now, Jen Thompson, no stranger to decently large jumps, but this might be one of the bigger jumps I've seen her take. And clearly, it worked just fine. Oh, she's ready to go. Will we see a record attempt? What is her? I'm gonna actually pull it. What is her all-time bench press? I think it's 325.
Yeah, it was 148. What is it?
$327. Yep.
Okay.
And she just did 314 like that. We're going to see a record today. Here's Maria Sargent. Speaking of records, we've got our first one of the day. Maria Sargent, she's going to be taking a bench press state record at 104 pounds. This is going to be an Ohio state record. 104 pounds for the raw women's teen 3, so 18, 19-year-olds bench press in the 44 kilo weight class. So she weighed in under 88 pounds with 104 on the bar.
Okay. All right. Oh, no.
Spotter's Lowe's going to have to grab that one, unfortunately.
Wow,
she held on for a while.
I was wondering what was going on there. She didn't shake it off either, which is weird, but
she's on the board. She did get her second attempt. So, unfortunately, she's not going to get that 5-kilo jump there. It just would not move. I think Gino used his magical gravity powers.
So, it looks like Jen Thompson put in 147. Ay, let's go.
I got disconnected from my server.
That was let's face facts. That 125 to 142.5, that's a huge
That was a
jump.
big jump.
That's a big
that was
jump
a big
for
jump,
a male,
and so
let alone a female.
and that's one of the attempt strategies that, I mean, there's a million things you can do with attempt strategies with powerlifting, and one of those more common ones is you're taking a decently light opener, something you know you can hit, and then going for a really, really big jump for your second. So Jen Thompson going that 275 to 314. It's a pretty sizable jump.
Yeah, big jump.
Actually, now that I think about it, it might not be that unheard of a jump. So let's say you're doing pound plates. 275 is 245s and a 25. Then jump to 3 plates.
Yeah.
Not that huge of a jump there.
True.
All right, here's Kayla Cobelli, 137 pounds. She is in our open class, but she is in our 52 kilo weight class. So let's see, she weighed in at 49.9, so just under the 110-pound mark. She's got 137 pounds on the bar. Very slow, methodical to the chest. Strong on the way up. It gave her a little bit of a fight, but she finished the fight. Let's see what she's got. 2 to 1. That's going to be a good lift, ladies and gentlemen. And folks, you see that 2 to 1. So you're seeing the lights at the bottom of the screen. Jan and I were talking about lights and colors and all that stuff and it being a good lift. You only need majority rules in this sport. You only need 2 out of 3 white lights. So you need 2 out of our 3 judges to deem that lift good in order for it to, in order for you to continue on. Awesome celebration there from Kayla Cobelli, going 3 for 3. Our first lifter going 3 for 3, so hitting all of her lifts for this session. Up next is Dana Bland, Team 2. Team 3, excuse me.
The BMCC crew out there is kicking butt. And we're on.
Yeah, we're already almost done with this flight, and the meet started half an hour ago.
Yeah, roughly.
All right, here's Dana Bland here. What's that back spotter doing? What did he do with the bar there, Jan?
Oh, he's handing it off to him. So the lifter will come up and she or he will tell them where they want the bar, how fast they want the bar out, placement, do they want it over their chest or closer to their neck or their face or whatever. They'll also tell them how they want it, meaning on my third breath, I'm going to count to 20 or, I usually say up to conserve energy. And that way you can tell them I want like 50% of you taking the bar weight. I want you to take it all, which is horrible. But obviously, you want to be nice to the lifter because you want to make sure that they get that attempt. So the handoff person, they're responsible for basically the bar over your face, and keeping you safe and making sure that you get a proper handoff. And they need to get themselves out of the way so we can see it.
Here's Megan Schilling. Let's see if she can get on the board here. Or she is on the board, actually, but she isn't going to miss that attempt. Sorry, Megan Schilling. So she's on the board with 62.5, so even 5 kilo jumps across the board. Pretty solid day. Fortunately, not able to get that third. The third bench press, even in full power meets, is the most commonly missed lift statistically. So it's not that much loss, not that much gain there. So she comes away with 62.5 kilos. And now Maggie McGuire. Now, Maggie McGuire and Kyla Brown and Macy later on in the flight are in interesting situations here. They've missed their first 2 lifts, so they are 0 for 2. So at this point, this bench is only to get them on the board. It might not be what they intended for their top-end number, but at this point, with powerlifting, we've got to make those adjustments, and we've got to get on the board somehow.
We need everybody at home cheering for these ladies. We want to make sure that they succeed and actually have have an attempt that is on record. Come on. Oh,
that
boy.
looked okay to me. I wonder if the butt came up.
That's going to be the question.
2 to 1. I believe it did, and that's from both the side judges, so that's pretty clear there.
That, so
let's see.
It's going to.
Yep,
there it is
right at
there.
the beginning there.
That the arms block the view, but.
So unfortunately, Maggie McGuire is not going to be able to post a bench press for this portion of the competition.
Let's see what Kyla can do. Hopefully she can pull this out. I like the hair.
I can respect the curls.
You can, yeah.
And now Kyla Brown, if you remember the bench press that she had before this, it kind of bobbled at the chest. She kind of hovered, a little bit of a double bounce there.
And it was a press before the press command, or like you said, maybe a false placement, whatever. Let's go. Good mojo. Okay. All right.
That looked
I
clean
didn't
to
see
me.
any downward motion, but
2 to 1. It's going to be a good
right.
lift.
She's in the meat.
You said butt. I don't know if you meant the butt, but I was
No,
meaning the butt.
Yes, you were.
And I
you
believe
were.
that side judge caught it as well.
Maybe one cheek versus the other. I mean, it's if you miss it, you miss it.
Yep. And again, folks, that's why we have majority rules. One referee might see an angle that another referee doesn't, and that's just the beauty of powerlifting.
All right, Brianna going back after 82.5 kilos. Sorry, I should probably talk pounds here. I always make that mistake.
181, if we're using the freedom units. And Brianna's one of our Masters 1 lifters. She's between the ages of 40 and 49.
Which now, for USA Powerlifting, you have to be that to be in it. Meaning that you can't be turning 40 and then work into a Masters 1 situation.
Right. If you're turning 40, you're still in the open.
Correct. Until your birthday.
Here's Brianna Boardman. Let's watch that 82.5 again. You want to talk about patience under stress here.
And that was not slowed down at all.
Nope.
That was at 100% speed.
Yep, the bar. And now, important to note here, the bar did have a little bit of shakiness. It didn't go up and down. That's the important thing. It can go forward, back. It can go tilt side to side. But as long as it does not go back, down
Not
in
so
that
much
plane of
tilt,
motion.
but move.
Move. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. Here's Aaron Hagen.
Come on. Nice and wow. Yes, folks, that was 100% speed right there. That was not slowed down one bit. That was a very deliberate press.
And that was clean.
She earned all of that.
I'll say that was excellent calling by Greg Page there.
I don't know if she had another kilo in her. It was fluid throughout the entire portion of that. Crazy. Good for her. So that was our second, 3 for 3.
Hopefully we'll get our third here with Miss Christy Rice. Again, also in our Masters 1 class. And she's going for 214 pounds. Now, if y'all are watching on the screen here, there's little boxes underneath her feet there. And those are per lifter preference. We do have 2 different size boxes that the lifters can use. And that's just to provide them an equitable playing field. Let's say those of us aren't at...
Okay.
I stopped because I almost thought she got that off the chest. Wow, what an attempt there, Christy Rice. But let's say the lifters, don't necessarily get full leg drive, or let's say they're a little bit shorter and they're not able to get full contact with the floor with their feet. We've got boxes for them. We saw that a lot with our youth lifters yesterday.
Yep. I mean, that's exactly why you want to use it. You want to actually see them be able to utilize their legs because, I mean, even though your upper body is what's doing it is the dominant force here, pushing with your feet also is a leverage point. And the more that you can maximize on it, the better.
Right. Here's Katie DeGuider looking to go 3 for 3 as well. 100 kilos. 100 kilos. You heard that right, folks. 220 pounds. We see your handler, Adriana Davis, one of my co-hosts, as well as another powerlifting business member. Here's Katie DeGuider.
Come on. So there's that uneven lockout, like I was saying.
It looked like she stayed on the bench. All 3 points of contact there. Fortunately, it's going to be 2 to 1, no lift. The side judges probably saw the butt.
Let's see what we can't see here.
Right, let's see what we can't see. I like that. I like that.
Oh, no replay. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Bryce.
So let's watch the. Okay, yep. So we can see some daylight under there.
And yep, there it is. Okay.
No up and downward motion. I mean, the press itself was clean. It's just really, and especially when you're shaky like that, it's very, very difficult to maintain position. It's kind of like being shaky on deadlift. Right. It's very hard to find that true lockout point when you're just shaking all over the place.
And it can make your knees like severely tremor and not look like you're locked out.
Exactly. Here's Rachel.
That's your CNS telling you you've had enough. What the?
Yeah, at
Is
that
this
point, the body
openers?
takes over.
What the?
Another 2-to-1, no
But do you
lift.
see how fast that was?
That was really fast.
For a third attempt? Wow. Well, let's go back to your point of what you're saying.
We've got a jury call here. We've got someone heading over to the jury now.
There's Mark.
So, ladies and gents, at national level meets we do have a jury, so that's just a collection of 3 national level referees, generally Cat 2. Cat 2 is higher than Cat 1, right? Or is it the other way around?
Right. So we have category referees sitting on a jury. Because then here's why. We can set world records, so we have to have 6 category referees in attendance all day long, specifically for the world record implications here.
All right, Macy, let's see if she
Go,
can get
Macy.
it. 242 pounds. She's out of Midland University.
No.
Oh, unfortunately, that's
God.
not going to go. So, unfortunately, Macy, again, is also not going to be able to post a bench here, unfortunately. But she may still be able to come back later on for the equipped portion. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if she was lifting in the. I can check that, can't I? We have the technology here.
Now, exactly like Jan was just saying, we do have to have 6 world category referees to be able to judge these lifts.
To adjudicate a world record, you have to have 3 in the chairs and 3 at the jury.
Yep. And we're going to see that on display right here, ladies and gentlemen. Jennifer Thompson is going for a world record attempt bench press here, 324 pounds. This is 3 pounds under her all-time bench press, but this will still be a world record attempt. Handled by both Donovan Thompson and Jeff Snyder,
And
both
did you hear what he just said?
bench
Gino just
pros.
Said open world record.
And this will be a record for the open 67.5 kilo bench press world record. Bar is loaded. She's been here many times. She's no stranger to the world stage, no stranger to world lifts. Always wanted to bring the energy for every meet that she does.
Yep, absolutely.
Jen Thompson, known for giving knuckles to the spotters, making sure she has their full support as well. And ladies and gents, if she is successful, she will hit an insane milestone with this bench. But let's get behind her. Let's see if she can't press her way out of this one. Jennifer Thompson out of North Carolina. A school teacher by day.
Yep.
Strong mom by night.
Come on. Oh, no.
Ladies and right at that transition there.
Yes, and that bar dipped on the right.
So like we were saying there, with not as much of a technical bench, you're going to find it's going to be a little bit easier off the chest, but that transition going into the triceps is tough.
Yep. And using that different muscle group always. Obviously, she's built different, but
right.
And I know she does a lot of tricep exercises, so the transition shouldn't be that tough. But I don't know. It just the right side just dipped, and as soon as that happened, it was not good.
And not only would that have been a world record, but that would have been the second highest bench press of any 67.5 kilo lifter.
Federation-wide.
In the Federation in history.
Yeah.
Which is a huge milestone. Just another notch in the cap for Jen Thompson.
Okay, we are rolling into flight B. I'm going to start off with Helene Weiss. She's a Masters 5 lifter. She looks like super stoked to be here. Let's go.
And she's our first and likely only Masters 5 lifter. Masters 5 lifter in the whole competition. Yesterday, the oldest we saw was Masters 4. So between the ages of 70 and 79. Miss Helene Weiss is in our Masters 5 age division, so she's between the ages of 80 and 89. Crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know if I'll make it that long, let alone being physically active enough to compete on the national stage at Bench Press Nationals. Here's Helene.
Oh. Nope. So her husband is competing.
Oh.
He's also an M5.
Are they? Oh, so he must be competing in the next flight or the next session.
He is in session 2, yeah.
Interesting.
So husband and wife duo.
Ladies and gentlemen, according to Gino, the pirate of powerlifting, that is a world record for Miss Miss Helene Weiss. It's going to be a world record for the Masters 5 class. Coming up next is Miss Sue Burns, going for 115 pounds. And she is in our Masters 2 class, so between the ages of 50 and 59. Looks like we've got some support all across the country, and this is a national level event, right? We've got lifters from all across the country here, and sure, these are athletes, but not only that, but we're humans, we're family members, we're friends, and so we've got a ton of support from folks watching the live stream all across the country. A lot of these lifters are moms, dads, grandparents.
Great-grandparents, maybe?
Great-grandparents, even. Some are here competing with their family.
Yeah, yeah.
Truly is a family affair, a community effort for USA Powerlifting.
And this is probably one of the only, well, I shouldn't say that, but it is a easy enough sport to get into to compete as a family. You know?
Yes, the barrier to entry is fairly low.
Yeah.
You don't need a qualifying total to compete in a local meet.
Nope. But that will set your gaze at an event like this, though.
Sarah's coming up for 126 pounds. You see her taking that extra 2 to 3 seconds, let the head spotter know exactly how she wants that lift off. And you were alluding to earlier, there's a lot of times where lifters can get kind of caught up with those instructions or get caught up with that setup. We've seen it a couple times even at the Open National stage where folks will unfortunately time out their lift because they just could not get set up in time.
Yeah, that's something that you really should be proficient at in the gym. You know, get it to the point where you've got it dialed down and ready to go, so that you don't wind up running into a situation where you have a time issue or you walk out with 60 seconds and by the time the bar's in your hands, you're under 20.
Right.
And, you know, maybe something's wrong where your heels are up and they have to have you replace the bar. You're pretty much done at that point. Not good, but you want to keep that train rolling. The elaborate setups are nice and all.
All right, folks, we've got Miss Elizabeth Richardson coming up. If you were watching last night, no, this is not a replay. No, this is not deja vu. She's coming back for the Raw Bench Press Challenge. Elizabeth Richardson competed yesterday in the Equipped Challenge.
We've got Natalie Richardson, too, who competed in Equipped yesterday.
Is she competing today as well?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
just double dipping as much as you can.
We've got, I know Will Garcia is competing again. There's like a handful that are doing Equipped and Raw. I mean, so these people they were pros in one or the other. So now they want to be pros. If they weren't in one, they want to be a pro in the other. So this will give them that opportunity to carry that pro card forward, or if they don't have their pro card, earn it, you know.
And the bench press is one of those lifts where you can kind of do more frequent maximal efforts day after day, just because it does require less overall central nervous system fatigue. There's a whole bunch of science behind it, but you can do bench a lot more often, and so it is a lot more common to see lifters do, especially once you get to youth bench equipped, those championships where there's a lot of divisions at one time, it's very common for folks to do 1, 2, maybe even 3 different sessions because they are eligible for those 3 and they have the capability to.
And if you spread it out where you do one on one day and one on another, so let's say you are an equipped bencher or an equipped lifter and you want to be an equipped bencher, you will probably compete on one day versus the other. You're not competing on the same day. So you have a day of rest. And obviously we want you to compete in bench first. Do 3 lifts instead of 9 first, because the reverse is not optimal.
Right, doing a whole full power meet and then going back in and doing bench one more time. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to do a full squat, bench, deadlift day in the gym. I know I have. I know Jan has. It's tough in and of itself, so being able to do that multiple times within one day or within even 2 days is tough. Here's Jessica Russell, again, utilizing those bench blocks at the bottom there. She's going to be opening with 187 pounds.
So do you know what those measurements are on those bench blocks?
I should, but I don't know them off the top of my head.
So we got a 5, a 10, and a 15. I think we only have a 5 and a 10 here.
Easy opener there for Jess.
Wow, you just threw that sucker back.
All right, coming up next, Miss Jennifer Wilcox. Jen's going for 203 pounds, and she's registered for both the Masters 1 and the Open bench press, so she will be submitting numbers for both of those divisions.
So let's talk about what the winners of this event will get. It's kind of similar to what we did for Equipped yesterday. So we'll start with the Open division. In the Open division for both male and female, the top 2 per weight class will earn a pro card. For the Masters division, all right, she just took her last warm-up.
That was air.
Yeah. RPE 0. Now put some weight on the bar. For the Masters, they will be competing with the dots plus age coefficient attached on there, and we take the top 10 male and female. So there's a potential for 20 cards there. And then the money portion of the meet is the top 3 open dots overall. So top 3 male, top 3 female, open category, dots only. And they are a $500 payout, $300 payout, and a $150 to 1, 2, and 3.
It's not a bad payday for a Saturday at a hotel.
No. Pay for your trip, potentially.
Here's LaTanya Wise. Now, LaTanya, easy opener there at 231. No stranger to the national stage in many different respects. She actually competed in prime time, Open Nationals prime time last year.
I think McKenna is another one that competed.
And McKenna competed yesterday. Yep, I remember. Yep.
Yep. I told you there was at least a handful.
I just want to have a bench that's strong enough to be considered good enough to be able to do multiple different divisions.
Well, I mean, nothing for nothing, Nick, but you only need a total to get in here.
This is true.
So
this is true. One of the misconceptions that I got debunked yesterday was that you needed to post a higher bench in order to qualify for the bench session.
For bench.
I completely made that up in my head. I don't know where I got that from.
So you could technically do a full power raw meet, get a total, and come and compete in Equipped and Bench Nationals, both of them, because you can use your raw total on the Equipped side, not the other way around, though.
All right, here's Isabel Marisek. This is 110 kilos, so 242 pounds. Looks like she has a pretty decently medium grip there.
Yeah, she's definitely inside the rings. Yeah, definitely inside the collars, or rings, excuse me.
And that's an interesting point of regulation as well. The fingers do have to be, in terms of width, the widest they can go is that index finger being on the smooth ring on those outside, covering those rings. If the index fingers are maybe a centimeter outside of those rings, that's outside of the max allowance, so you've got to bring the hands in. We don't really see that to be an issue. Most often folks are pretty fine with knowing where that max width grip is, but A lot of times it is very individual for the lifter.
I think you'll see that more with the bull grip, you know,
Yes.
where you actually just have the tips of your fingers on the bar. Because,
Which
you
is
know,
a rule change that they
Yeah.
just allowed for last year's Nationals, I believe.
I've tried doing that. I can't. It's not comfortable.
I've learned how to do the bulldog,
Oh, yeah?
and I don't know that I can go back.
Wow.
It just feels interesting. Like I don't know the way it feels in my hands.
It's like those people that they bench with suicide grip. It's not.
That's scary.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because I've seen the bar slip out of people's hands way too many times.
That is a dangerous game. Suicide grip not allowed in competition, by the
No.
way.
Or his reverse grip.
You can have what's technically called a suicide grip on squat, but as long as that thumb is still in contact with the bar. Here's Nadia Mumin. I do hope I'm pronouncing that name right. If I'm not, I do apologize.
Comes out and smacks herself. Gets in the zone.
I want those wrist wraps. Those are the sickest wrist wraps I have ever seen.
Oh, nice.
And this is $297, folks. This is almost a 300-pound opener.
Okay.
And it moves like that.
Yep.
Now, we were talking about 280, 290, 300-pound openers yesterday, but those are equipped. Those were equipped benches. Nadia's raw.
Yeah.
No equipment whatsoever, no bench shirt, nada.
Female benching 300 pounds, no matter the body weight, is still impressive.
Insane.
And not to throw any shade, but there are some men that can't do that. Don't have to raise your hand.
You know what?
Like I said, not throwing any shade. Just
I can at least say that. I can at least say I can bench over.
good. Good.
I'm a man.
Hey, I mean, what's that milestone at the gym, right? You want to get.
Oh, you got to get the 315.
Three plate bench, right? So that's the thing, and that's a real that's for any person. I mean, a man specifically, but a female.
Here's Amanda Dahl. Like we said, just carrying on 303 pounds for an opening attempt. This is insane. Whoa.
Soft touch, and
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen. Amanda Dahl.
she's not done either.
303 pounds goes up like 103 pounds.
Now let's look at this.
Wow.
Nobody missed their opener. That's pretty dang good.
It's the first. So we had that for one session yesterday. There was one session where everybody got their openers. It was great. Let's hope we can keep the same thing rolling.
All right,
Everyone in this flight got their openers.
Here's Helene Weiss going to take her second. I'm assuming she's gonna best her world record.
This is 66 pounds for Miss Helene. She's getting the blocks out for her, and that back spotter is giving her the lift off. This will be adding on to her prior world record attempt that she set on her opener.
Look at the narrow grip. That's all triceps right there. Any closer, she's in the smooth.
Oh, look at the celebration there.
Help her off the bench, people. She's a Masters 5, for the love of God.
What an attempt there. It went up super, super easy, and this is real time, folks, so no slow-mo. That's how fast it really was. Excellent job there by Helene Weiss. Super fast. I imagine she's going to go up. Let's see, that was 27 and a half. She went to 30.
Probably another 2.5.
We might see 32 and a half.
Yeah.
And that's Masters 5, ladies and gentlemen. Masters 5 is one of the smallest age divisions in powerlifting in
Very much
general.
so.
Aside from our youth classes, so. Here's Sue Burns, 57 and a half kilos, a 5-kilo jump. Easy press there for Sue. 3 white lights. Sarah's coming behind with 137 pounds. And our spotters and loaders are cruising. Look, I counted probably 7 seconds, and that bar is already loaded.
Pit crew.
I want one of those shirts, too. I don't know who I have to talk to at A7, but those are some nice platform-ready shirts.
Those are coveted shirts, let me tell you.
Ooh, A7, like, platform crew exclusives?
You can only get those at Vienna. You're only going to get it if you're up there.
Ooh.
It's
members only.
Yes. Throwing it back, yes.
All right, Sarah with 137. Plenty of time on the clock left. Very nice.
All right, let's see what the referees say. Good lift. Good for her.
And we saw Helene Weiss. So she is going to go on to break her own world record. Now, when you're going for world records or even American records, you can add the minimum required. You can go less than the minimum required, so 2.5 kilos.
Yeah.
You can go less. You can go all the way down to half a kilo.
Yep.
In order to what's called chip that world record. And that's exactly what Helene is going to do. She went from 30 to 31 kilos instead of going to the 32.5 kilo jump.
And she can only do that because she's in her own division, not in the open.
Right.
If she was in the open, she would have to go a full
to
2.5.
32.
Yeah.
Here's Elizabeth Richardson. Back again because she loves this. She's not new to this. She's true to this. 154. Wow. Masters 3 putting on a master class. Damn. 3 white lights. Looks like she's handled by Hartman Performance Training, one of the stalwart teams for USA Powerlifting, both in the equipped and the raw scene.
Have we talked about how people watching could actually find information about the meet? And
I completely forgot to mention that.
Yeah. So you can follow along with the results or watch the live board on LiftingCast.com. And once you go to the home screen, you can either use the search feature and type in bench, or I believe it's within the first 5 meets. It's Bench Nationals 2024 USA Powerlifting Bench Nationals Day 2. So it's right there. You can click around, find the hamburger menu on the left, and you're going to be popped into the results, which will show you results as they're posted, or you can go hamburger menu and pick board, which will show you what we're looking at right now and kind of the lineup of the flights and who's up and what's the weight on the bar and what they're putting in for the next attempt, so on and so forth.
Catherine McClure with a good attempt there. And kind of like you were saying, there's a lot of different views you can get with the LiftingCast. You can get the display view that we're looking at, which is what the people in the audience see on the big screen. You could get the board screen, which is what the folks at the score table see. Lots of different views you can get. And you can also set filters as well, so you can see different placings. You can see different dots, which is the coefficient score that we're basing our placings off of.
Yep.
You can see all of that live at liftingcast.com/meets. And as Jan said, you can scroll down hamburger style to the Bench Nationals Day 2. Here's Jess Russell, 198 pounds. Very clean.
Nice. Good for her. Did not see anything wrong with that lift at all. Good. 3 white lights.
Jess Russell, a good friend of mine. She's the pink shoe power lifter.
Oh. Out of your gym or?
Out of North Carolina. She's in the Raleigh area.
Shot out of the bench stop.
TSS, phenomenal metal work.
I have some of those. They're awesome. They don't see USAPL on them, though.
That's platform exclusive, Jan.
Well, I wanted my own brand. So.
Here's Jennifer Wilcox, 220 pounds.
A Masters 1 and Open competitor today.
Wow.
All right.
And that sets her up well. It gives her a ton of space to work going to that third attempt. And that was a 7.5 kilo jump, too. So not within the realm, or not within the realm of possibility for her to go another 7.5 kilo jump, maybe even 5 kilos.
Yeah. Because that looked good, but, we don't know how that felt to her.
Exactly. Up next is Miss LaTanya Wise, 242 pounds. Again, no stranger to the national stage. She's in our 82.5 kilo weight class, so she had to weigh in below 181 pounds. Very clean bench attempt there. And LaTanya is one of those lifters. She's been lifting for years, and she's just gotten better every single time she's gone on stage, and her platform presence just continues to grow each time. And she's out of South Carolina. Shout out Jungle Gym. Shout out Alpha Strength. Here's Isabel Marisek.
Rocking the A7 singlet.
And I believe they're out of Georgia.
Oh, really?
Alpha Strength and Power. I recognize the logo from a couple of the Georgia meets that I've been to. She's getting set up under 253 pounds. One of the fastest and most controlled descents that we've seen today.
Wow.
I don't think you could have gotten any more textbook.
No, that was
That
perfect.
was quite literally, like, you want to picture, you want to tell one of your athletes, for you coaches at home, you want to tell your lifters, go down as fast as you can control it. Show them a video of Isabel Marisek and show them this second attempt. And they'll know exactly what you mean.
Using those lats and everything to get that bar for chest.
Phenomenal work there. Up next is McKenna Henderson. 10 kilos jump from 242 to 264.
Obviously,
so
not tired from yesterday.
I was going to say, if you're in a powerlifting gym, or let's say you're at ABC Iron, that's going from 1 red, 1 blue, straight to 2 reds. Let's see it, McKenna. Oh, so
okay.
Looks like the elbows flared out just a little
yeah.
bit, and those wrists kind of untucked, which kind of goes towards the technicality of the bench press. It's any small misgroove and fraction of a second mistiming, and the bench just won't go.
Remaining tight is a real thing.
All right, here's Natalie Richardson. This is 270 pounds for Natalie Richardson. Having competed yesterday, she said, "I'm not done yet. Give me some more. I'm not just strong in equipment. I'm strong by myself."
Nice. Nice. Good for her.
All right, coming up next is Ms. Nadia Mumin. And we're back up to over the 300s, folks. 140 kilos. For those of you in that weight class, you know that number very, very well. That is 308 pounds for Nadia Mumin. I'm trying to remember if this is one of the heavier bench presses we've seen all weekend. I know Alicia Webb hit a crazy bench press yesterday. She hit a world record. And here's Nadia.
Oh, she missed the face slap.
That's just for the opener. That's just to get her locked and loaded. Here we go, Nadia. Let's see what you got. Whoa. And that's one thing you're going to find that's a little bit different with or one of the things you're going to see differently with some people's bench press techniques here. They could have a decent sink into the chest, which does allow them to get a little bit more of that extra momentum coming off of the press. However, kind of like what we were saying earlier, that does cause the bar to stick right when you transition off of the chest. And so that was a great example there by Nadia Mumin, using the sink into the chest to be able to blow it right back up. Phenomenal job there. 308 pounds. Let's see what she puts up for her third attempt. But before we get there, we've got Miss Amanda Dahl representing Mustache Strength and Fitness. Carly Skarapinski. Here's Amanda Dahl. This is 319 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. 319 pounds. We see in the camera view my two co-hosts, Kevin Serrano and Adriana Davis. Not only do they commentate, referee, and all the above, but they handle and compete as well. But here's Amanda Dahl. Wow. Simply wow. 3 white lights. 145 kilos, 319 pounds. Raw bench press, ladies and gentlemen. This is insane. But you think we're done yet? We are not. We've still got third attempts, ladies and gentlemen. And coming up for our first lifter coming up for their last attempt is Miss Helene Weiss. Now, Helene is looking to go for the hat trick, ladies and gentlemen. She is looking to go 3 for 3. 3 world records, 3 bench press attempts for this young lady, Miss Helene Weiss. Bar is loaded. Here she comes. Her husband actually competing later on today. And this is a world record. This is 68 pounds. Like we said earlier, because this is a world record, she is able to chip the weight, quote unquote chip the weight, so she's able to go up by less than the required 2.5 kilos. So this is 1 kilo increase from her second attempt. 68 pounds. Can she get the hat trick? Can we go 3 for 3 on bench here? Let's see it, Helene. And we do, ladies and gentlemen.
Really? 1 kilo? She had a lot more in the tank.
Oh, she had 5 in her.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, and you get the hug from Gino. 3 world records, 3 bench attempts. Helene Weiss walks away. The best in the world. One of the strongest young ladies in the world, Helene Weiss. What a show. Coming up next is Sue Burns. Going up 2.5 kilos to 60. It's 132 pounds. And that bar is loaded for her. Again, shout out to Barbell Productions and Kevin Lamb and the team for all the awesome angles that they're showing us today. Sue Burns is 60 kilos, also looking to go 3 for 3 here. Slower off the chest, but we get to the lockout. We see that again with the wider grip. Sue Burns, 3 white lights. Another lifter going 3 for 3 on bench. We are 2 for 2 so far. Can Sarah keep the trainer rolling? 143 pounds is on the bar, or getting loaded up for her. With one of the new A7 competition tees with the vertical demand greatness logo there. Shout out A7.
Sorry, I'm having a dip here every once in a while, but duty calls.
Jan's a busy man, y'all. Not like I said at the beginning of this session, Jan did create these flights, so that means he's got to create the flights for the next session.
Well, they're
so
done,
he's
but we've
busy.
got we're fixing things, and
Jan's a fixer.
I'm a fixer, unfortunately, yes. But hey, somebody's got to do it. That's what a third attempt should look like right there.
Wow, what a perfect call there.
Yep. Yep.
Another lifter going 3 for 3.
Leave a little left, a little on the bone.
Let's see if we can't keep the train going. Elizabeth Richardson had a great show on bench press yesterday, looking to go 3 for 3 in the raw bench press portion today.
She handled by Jeremy Hartman there.
Jeremy Hartman handled multiple national level lifters, equipped and raw. One of my favorite lifters of all time, Jared Martin.
I think he had Sophia yesterday, and he'll probably have her today, this afternoon / evening.
Yes, because this evening for session 3, we do have the first round of full power equipped powerlifting.
Yep, our lightweight women and men.
But first, Elizabeth Richardson, she unracks 165 pounds. Wow.
Oh.
I'm going to give it to her. I didn't see much down. I saw
so
a
are
stop.
they.
3 white lights.
Referees. Wow.
Ladies and gents, this is a lot of green we're seeing on LiftingCast here.
Wow.
4 lifters in a row going 3 for 3.
Now, and you did catch that she's an M3, right?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
I would love to still be doing this when I'm an M3. I'm a little bit closer than you are, but.
Just a little. Here's Catherine McClure. Looking to keep the streak rolling, 165 pounds.
That's a very deliberate descent. Wow. And the ascent matched it perfectly. Oh.
Call me DJ Khaled the way I'm going to say another one. 5 lifters now. 3 for 3 in this flight. This is probably the most green I've ever seen on LiftingCast in any capacity. Shout out to all of our lifters and the phenomenal work they're doing on the platform today. Also, shout out Gino. Okay, shout out Gino's fit today. It is insane. The pink bedazzled policeman hat with the leggings, the rose leggings. It's really doing it for me.
That's his Rob Halford outfit with the hat and all that. I don't know if you know who that is.
Judas Priest.
There you go.
Come on now.
Just checking. When I mentioned that,
I'm not uncultured here, Jan.
No. When I mentioned that at a couple weeks ago, people were like, who?
Who's Rob Halford?
I had to show them a picture. But
right.
He's usually in black.
Yes. Here's Jess Russell going for her last bench press attempt here, 203 pounds. This is going to be an insane milestone for Jess. I know there's a lot of personal reasons she's doing this meet here today. And with this press here, she could find her way.
No.
Oh, just a little bit of a bobble there.
I like those pink no balls.
Well, she is the pink shoe powerlifter.
Oh,
that is her brand.
There we go. Love it. Can I be the red shoe powerlifter?
We could start a whole rainbow.
Let's do it.
Of X color shoe powerlifters.
Let's do it.
I'll be purple. We'll make the whole lineup.
I think Gino's got to claim my purple. I don't know.
All right, coming up next, Ms. Jen Wilcox, 237 pounds even on the bar. Nice view of those nice and shiny TSS plates. They were actually unveiled at last year's Collegiate Nationals.
Mm-hmm. Got a whole semi parked outside full of them.
And you heard it. Yes, you did hear Jan right, folks. A whole semi truck. It's not just a pick up some equipment, head in your truck, and go to a meet. No, this requires trucks and pallets of equipment.
We can outfit 20 platforms with what we have. Fully.
Not to interrupt you, Jan, there, but Jen Wilcox just blew up a 7.5 kilo. And see, like we said, she went 92 to 100 and then another 7.5, and she blew that up just as well. Phenomenal work there from Jess.
She knows her jumps, right?
Exactly.
Or her coach knows her jumps.
LaTanya Wise here going to take her last one.
She's dialed in.
And now she's our first lifter with an alternate game plan here. She went 105 to 110, so a 5-kilo jump, and is now going a larger jump from second to third, which is not something you normally see, only because, the higher you go in weight, the higher relative to your body weight it is. So it's going to be a little bit harder for that weight to come up in general. But a larger jump on the second attempt, maybe a bold strategy that we don't know about. Let's see what LaTanya's got.
Well, to me, it looks like it's a play for first.
So she is currently sitting second.
I mean, but she's still forecasted in second.
In the 82s.
Yeah.
Well, she's got Natalie Richardson.
Yeah, so.
Yep, and with that, she is going to probably solidify that second place for today. Still, and I imagine since LaTanya's been in multiple national level meets, this is probably just a warm-up or a tune-up meet for her. Obviously, Open Nationals is the coveted prize here. But not to be outdone, I mean, Bench Nationals is a task in and of itself.
She will be getting a pro card today.
Because she is top 2.
Top 2, yeah.
So LaTanya Wise, I don't know if she's already a pro. She's not. Okay,
No.
There we go. Here's McKenna Henderson. We did miss that 120, so we're going to try and go for it one more time. If I remember correctly, McKenna had a bit of a struggle off the chest here, so if she's able to get past that sticking point immediately off the chest, we might be able to see something shake here.
Oh, that's a nice view right there. Come on.
Oh. She got a little bit farther off the chest there, but unfortunately just relied a little bit too much on the momentum and could not find the way through.
10 kilos, that's a hefty jump. We have another 7.5 though. I just, actually 7.5, 7.5, 5, 5. They're not. I don't see any 2.5s here at all.
These ladies are going for it.
Yes, they are.
All right, here's Isabel Marisek out of Georgia. This is 122.5 kilos, 270 pounds. Isabel gets that start command.
Nice.
Now that looked solid to me. I wonder if the butt came up, and I wonder if our referee saw it. Nope, I guess not. That's going to be 3 white lights. I saw just a little bit from that right side angle there, but again, that's why I am behind the screen, behind a, well, not behind a camera, but
We'll be able to see a little bit better here.
not in the chair. Yep, so we did see a little bit of daylight there.
I think she got away with it, but that's okay. That's why we're not out there. Yep. Hey, Merry Christmas.
Natalie Richardson here, looking to go for her 2nd win of the whole weekend. She's already got one for equipped. Looking to do the same for raw, going up 7.5 kilos to 286 pounds. Unfortunately, not able to find her way through. And I think there, it looked a little bit less strength, more so a missed groove on the way up there. Looked like she just came a little bit too close to the head.
Yep.
All right, now coming up next, this will be a state record attempt for Nadia Mumin. This is 319 pounds. And this will be a state record for New York,
Really?
if I'm not mistaken. Either New York or Massachusetts. Looking at her competition record, she's had a lot of meets in New York and Massachusetts. Oh, her most recent one was Massachusetts, so this may very well be a Massachusetts state record.
Keep going, keep going.
Keep going, keep going. Oh,
She shook it
man.
off. Oh, float that bar a little bit farther back. Use that momentum. No, that's okay.
I feel like Tony Lee, in conjunction with Gino, used his magical gravity powers and just made the bar stop. And that's just what happens, folks. Sometimes the bench just doesn't move.
She'll get credit for her 2nd attempt, so still keeping her in 2nd place. So
Exactly. Now here's Amanda Dahl sitting in 1st place now. This is 330 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. None of my lifters can hit this on bench. I just want to put that out there. I have 17 lifters. None of them can hit 330. Well, one of them can. And many folks
across gender?
across all of powerlifting, really, this is a tough number to hit among men and women. And the fact that Amanda Dahl might be able to blow this up. Let's see what she's got.
Looks like she's a mustache athlete, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we give a shout-out to Mustache Fitness, Carly Skarapinski.
There you go.
And Amanda Dahl is going to round out our last bench press for Flight 2.
Now we're going into the long flight. Let's
see how many we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17 lifters.
No. Is there 17 in there?
We've got a big flight, folks. But this will be our last flight of this session here. So once this session is done, we will be all wrapped up and ready to go. We've still got session 2 starting at 11:30 today. Or 12. Is it 12?
That's a good question. No, it's...
Here's James Williams, Masters 3 lifter, opening 187 pounds. More of a close grip there, less of a super technical bench, so a very long range of motion there. That's going to be a good lift.
11:30. And then after this, the middle session is just all men. So. Breaking my own rules here. No choice.
All right, bars loaded here for Ezra Kaufman, 192 pounds.
Backside shot is Zach Cooper. Oh, hitting. That's going to be under it. What did he hit?
It looked like he hit the J hook there. Now, that is going to be 3 white lights here. Now, we've seen some instances where if you hit the J hook, it's a no lift. What are some instances of that?
Well, if you use the actual equipment to assist your lift, that would be a no lift.
They did grant him the lift.
Okay. I didn't see it come up. So in this case, I mean, he hit the equipment, but it didn't assist him in any. I've seen people squat and actually hit the bottom of the J hook and pull the J hook up. And so you're adding more weight to the bar on top of that.
That's, yeah.
And then you release it and it falls back down. That's crazy, but you got that deep to actually go that far.
Easy opener there for Noah Poole. And we're now on to all of our men. So all of our Raw ladies are done for the whole weekend. So now we're on to our first round of all men. 95 kilos for Mr. Isai Rojas Ramirez. 209 pounds. And the bar is loaded. He's a teen 2 lifter, so between the ages of 16 and 17. And I'll tell you this, he's already benching way more than I could at 16. Probably because I didn't hit a weight room till I was 17. But Isai, he's also doing it a lot lighter than I was. I was about 200 pounds. Isai is sitting at a crisp 120.
Wait, you weighed 200 pounds at 16?
I was big.
You want to know what I weigh? For 3 years in high school, I weighed 119. Yeah.
Ladies and gents at home, if you've never met Jan Dario, you would not believe it.
Yep.
Jan's a big guy. He's a big lifter.
I
lifts a lot of weight.
119 for 3 years. Found the gym, and I gained like 50 pounds for my senior year.
Just goes to show, folks, if you're trying to put some weight on healthily,
weight
over a long time,
gym, hit it, find it.
Hop into powerlifting. You're never too old. Clearly, you're never too old. You're also never too young.
Live, love, lift. Should coin that phrase.
Live, love, lift.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to get that tattooed.
There you go.
Here's Nicholas Kurtz. It's 225 pounds, so a 2-plate date for an opener. A little bit slower than we would have imagined for an opener. A little bit more shaky.
But he's got long arms, and that's it's just one of those things where if you're a male, female too, but a male, and you have long arms, it's a long way down and it's a long way up. If you can utilize a little bit of an arch, it's going to be a benefit. Women can definitely do it way easier than we can. I have seen some lighter weight males get crazy bent in half, but
one of my best friends, he has one of those benches, and he says he has pigeon ribs. So he's got shorter rib cage, able to get that super high arch, and a lot of that, I mean, obviously is limited anatomically, but
so
you can train into any technique you want.
Yeah.
Easy opener there for Lemmy.
And also, so like bar grip placement, right? So the wider you can go on the bar, the shorter your range of motion, right? So if you're using like a close grip bench technique, your arms are almost maxed out straight-wise. And it's all the way down and all the way up. But the more you go out, the more you shorten that range of motion.
All right, here's Lee Rogers coming out of the wings here. Technical controller Kevin Serrano doing a great job there. Here's Lee Rogers. This is 242 pounds, showing that he too is a renegade of the funk. Masters 1 lifter between the ages of 40 and 49. So, Dad, if you're watching, take notes.
That was a super easy opener.
And that's what we want to see. We want to see an opener that's not necessarily like, I mean, we've seen a lot of openers that are super easy,
Yeah.
like air, but we want that to happen. We would much rather have that than have an opener that's tough. Because if you have an opener that's tough, you don't have any room to keep going. Let's say, even if you make that lift, let's say you're only able to go up just a few more pounds after that.
That quad's in this dude.
Markham Leventhal. He's also going for 242 pounds. Good utilization of the bench blocks there to make sure we get solid leg drive. Beautiful. Oh, but we did miss that rack command. I spoke a little bit too soon. And you know what? Sometimes instinct and habit just takes over. I've done it a couple times in a meet before. It happens. We know he's got the weight, and so this would be a situation where I would let him go up in weight. I wouldn't want him to repeat that only because it'd almost be a waste. If anything, I'd put on 115 and let him go again and just scream at him to stop moving. Here's Robert Grenko coming up next, 248 pounds. Robert is a USAPL referee as well.
Yeah, we do have a lot of people that are competing and lifting. It's that's commitment. That's commitment. I would love to compete at one of these, but
oh wow, Robert. He can't stop. Robert Grenko, 248. 2-1. That's going to be a good lift.
I wonder what the Chiefs saw.
And so it's a blue light, so it's going to be one of two things. Either going to be that up and downward motion, or it is going to be soft elbows.
Or he uses his, and I didn't see him use his chest as leverage to elbows. Zach's pointing at it right there.
Ah, elbows. Okay, there. Thanks, Zach.
He's telling him, steal second, steal second.
All right, James Pui coming up to 281. Bench is looking red hot like a chili pepper. James Pui. Now, one thing we notice here, he is wearing a belt. And so one thing we want to notice, or want to make sure he doesn't do, is make sure that bar comes into contact at... Sorry,
Holy.
that was way too fast.
What the?
We want to make sure that bar doesn't come into contact at any point with that belt, because then that would be considered a red light, red card.
Yep.
The red light, red card indicates that the bar did not make full contact with the chest. We see that more often with equipped lifters getting down, breaking past that bench shirt. Not so much with the raw powerlifting. But every now and then, if a raw powerlifter touches the bar to the belt, it's not touching the chest, so then therein that's going to be a red light.
There's Manny Prito, New York native.
I remember Manny Prito. I
Yep.
commentated him at the New York State meet.
Yep.
Strong lad, strong lad. 67.5 kilos, going for almost double body weight bench press right now. 292 pounds.
Nice.
Manny's been here before, ladies and gents. 2-1.
Whew, our chief is rough today. But that's okay.
He even said, nope, my bad.
Oh, he did?
Yep, he did a little wave.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Up next is Winston Sooney. Another one rocking the all-pink A7 colorway. I need A7 to come out with another purple colorway pretty soon. Very technical bench here. High arch. Very clean.
These guys are just smoking their openers, which is good. Leave some room. Grow it organically.
We're going to keep the same weight on, but we're going to adjust the rack height just a little bit. Eric Truswell. Looks like he's rocking a Barbell Medicine T-shirt there. Barbell Medicine, one of the top teams in powerlifting, especially raw powerlifting. and he is competing as a guest lifter, Eric Truswell is. So what that means, folks, is he must have come in a little bit overweight. So what happens is if you come into a meet, obviously you're relegated to a weight class, and you have to weigh below that limit. If you do come in a little bit heavier, and some folks do elect to cut, some folks elect to just stay at the weight that they're at. If they choose the latter, they're going to be put into the guest lifter category. So they won't be able to compete with the rest of their folks in the same weight class. However, they are still going to get to compete for the meet. And correct me if I'm wrong, that number still goes into their lifting database, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
They just won't be included in the awards at all.
Okay.
But
and
the
he
total
did weigh
still
in, looks like he weighed in at 75.25, so less than a kilo.
I don't know.
Looks like Will Eckford here, 319 pounds for a smoke show opener.
Texas A&M athlete.
You see the side of his shirt there, his shirt sleeves at 2023 Nationals. Texas A&M is one of the stalwart teams in USA Powerlifting, especially at the collegiate level.
Yep.
Texas A&M's hosted CNAS for many, many years.
Yeah, there's a lot of collegiate teams out of Texas, which is
Texas is probably one of the biggest powerlifting states, aside from maybe the Carolinas, California.
Actually, so
New York as well.
If you go in order right now, it would be Texas, California, New York, maybe Florida.
Oh, I was right. And like we said, folks, lifters are going to be competing more than once this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Will Garcia.
Yeah, Will Garcia, yeah.
You just saw him blow that up.
He just flew through under the radar.
Well, we're almost to the end of openers here. Javier Melendez, 325 pounds opening.
He needs to lower his raise his rack height just a little bit.
I want to say, good move there for Javier Melendez. I thought I saw the hips come up just a hair, but that's also me being super, super nitpicky. And so Javier Melendez as well as Charlie Page, both of them weighed in overweight for their weight class, so they were both trying to make it into the 75-kilo weight class. Both of them were overweight, so Javier weighed in at 78, Charlie weighed in at 76. So they will actually be joining Eric Truswell in the in the same kind of weight class guest area.
All,
yes.
And our first 400-pound bench.
Here we go, Mr. Charlie Page, 402 pounds. He is about to bench what most lifters within 1 or 2 training years are able to squat. Even deadlift at some points.
Mm-hmm. It's a milestone bench, just like 315.
Very long way to go as well.
Yeah.
Not the most technical bench we've seen.
No.
So no super high arch, no crazy setups, no weird
grip.
cues going on there. Close grip.
Mm-hmm.
That is pure strength, pure muscle at its finest, ladies and gents. Very reminiscent of another bench presser that I'm familiar with, Todd Talford, out of South Carolina. You'll see him later on today. I believe he'll be shooting for over 500 pounds on the bench press.
Nice.
All right, here's Ezra Kaufman. Teen 1 lifter. Now we are on to second attempts. Ezra's going to start us off here. 198 pounds. See a little sneak peek of Johnny Graham walking out of the corner there. Johnny Graham, the vice president of USA Powerlifting. Side referee there, Mr. Tony Lee. Senior. That's going to be a no lift for Ezra there. We see a little bit of a interesting look there from the handler. We're going to see, likely going to retake that going into the third attempt. Let's see what he's got here.
Did it come down odd? I don't know.
It looks like his elbows are coming way forward in front of the bar there.
There it is right there. He's flaring them back.
We'll see when he flares them back. Now they're stacked under the bar.
Exactly.
So I wonder if that might be a little bit of a tech adjustment we make behind the stage. See if we can't come through for that weight next time.
Maybe set too far back.
That as well. Here's James Williams, Masters 3, 209 pounds. All right, James, remember, you too can bench 209. Oh, my goodness.
Make it look like that. Okay, so when is he going to start lifting? Because he jumped 10 kilos from his opener.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we might see another 10-kilo jump to 231.
105, yeah.
Up next is Mr. Noah Poole, 209 pounds. Noah Poole is in our Team 1 age division, so he's between the ages of 14 and 15 years old. I'll tell you what, folks, when I was 14, I was not doing this. I was not on a national level stage, and I was not bench pressing over 200 pounds. But Noah Poole is. Up next is Mr. Isai Rojas Ramirez. Isai Rojas about to make this bench aerial. Isaiah Rojas Ramirez. $220 pounds for Isai Rojas Ramirez. Team 2, 16, 17 years old. Very smooth on the way up. We did see a couple of hitches there, but the bar did not go back down at all in weight. So that is 3 white lights. Coming behind is Mr. Nicholas Kurtz. Jandario, the monster provider. Thank you, sir. Cracking open a cold one. Bar is loaded after Mr. Nicholas Kurtz. My namesake, 231 pounds. See him taking his time to set up there. One of the few benchers that we're seeing that is wearing a belt. We more often see that with equipped lifting, especially in the sense of trying to keep that shirt tucked and keep it stable. Now, wearing a belt has many different applications, especially when it comes to the bench press. But we just got to make sure the bar doesn't come anywhere near it. Oh, we've got plenty of room there. Shaky. We're able to come up. So, like we were alluding to at the very beginning here, the bar can kind of shimmy its way up. It can kind of step its way up. But as long as the middle of that bar doesn't go back down and we maintain a consistent vertical plane, it will be a good lift.
Yep.
Here's Robert Grenko, 253 pounds. Bar is loaded. He's a Masters 2 lifter, 50 to 59 years old. Interesting. Doing a little bit of self-talk there before hopping under the bar. I love watching people's setups, especially when you get to full power meets and you look at the deadlift setups. But the bench press setups are almost a lot more fun to watch.
I
Good lift there.
With this, but I think a lot of the deadlift setups are mimicked from other. They mimic and then they add and then over embellish.
Oh yeah.
And it's they turn it into their own. It's like so one thing becomes something else and then it just keeps,
it snowballs. Yep.
Right.
Here's Mr. Markham Leventhal waiting to get the bar loaded there.
So he needs to remember that rack command.
Yes, yes, that's right. I completely forgot.
And he did jump 5 keys, so he went up.
He was the only opener that was missed within the past 2 flights. So far, solid effort from everyone across the board. Markham Leventhal looking to get on the board here with 115. And like you said, we really just have to make sure that we're making note of those commands. we're able to find lockout. And we held it at the top, so I believe that will be a good lift there. Now, Marco Leventhal, that is, like I said, it's going to be a good lift. And he did something with his attempts that we don't necessarily see all that often. And that's going up after missing an attempt. I mentioned a little bit earlier that with Markham's previous attempt, with it being more of a command issue there, I would have still allowed him to go up just because of how easily it moved.
And maybe, you know, we just saw that a 5 kilo jump could be detrimental.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yep. And so that's something that handlers and lifters are constantly toying with in their heads, especially when we're talking about attempts for our lifters. You know, we miss our opener. Do we go up? Do we want to get on the board? Do we want to keep the same game plan and risk it? There's a lot of different factors at play here.
And you only have 3 attempts to do it.
Lemmy with a nice attempt there. Looked like it got up and down at the very top there, but I think it's going to be a good lift.
Nope.
No, it's not. That's going to be 2-1. So we got a yellow card and a blue card. So see a little bit of up and down there at the top.
Did his heels come up?
It looked like his heels came up just a little bit as well. So yellow card we mentioned yesterday. It's kind of a catch-all for most things. So we know a red card is contact with the chest. We know a blue card is soft elbows or up and downward motion. A yellow card is everything else. So heels coming up. It is the shoulders. Oh no, actually shoulders coming up counts. Losing any of the points of contact on the bench.
I would love to see that actually.
I think I saw it yesterday where someone kind of came up this way and turned.
Yeah.
So that shoulder did lose contact. But you've got missing commands. Let's see, heels coming up. What are some other yellow cards?
Heels, but yeah, God.
Of course, now I'm trying to think of all the yellow cards, and I can't think of any of them.
Hands.
Yes, if the hands open at all on the bar.
Which I've seen.
Oh, I've seen it a couple times. There was one time.
Squat.
Yes.
But in bench, you could see it too, because if you're actually pressing fast, you come up and you literally not let go of the bar, but it looks like you do.
There was one time, I remember one time very specifically early on in my commentary career, there was one guy who benched and his hand came off and shifted out on the bench. I'd never seen anything like that, ever. But it was a yellow card because the hands came off of the surface of the bar. Here's James Pui. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Nice second attempt.
303, James Pui, take me out. 2 white lights.
Huh.
I saw another yellow card there from the head referee. Coming up next is Manny Prieto, 308. Oh, he does do self-lift off. Manny Prieto says, I don't need help. I will do this myself.
Watch on and everything. He can tell you what time it is and bench. Oh.
It's going to be a good lift. Now, I thought he jumped the rack command.
I thought his feet moved. But
oh, you thought his feet moved? Okay.
Yeah. Because it looked. I mean, it was at the same time. Let's see here. See? The bar
so can the heels come up when you get that rack command, or does the bar have to make contact before the heels come up?
The bar should be in the J hooks before you move your feet.
Okay. That's a good rule. Good caveat. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Just in the rack means nothing. It has to be down and settled.
Here's Winston Sooney, 325 pounds. Very easy second attempt there. Coming next, Mr. Eric Truswell, He is going to be one of our guest benchers today, but he's going to be going to 330 pounds. Technical controller Kevin Serrano doing a great job of making sure our athletes are all set up for the platform, making sure the right athlete is coming out at the right time, which is something we saw quite a bit yesterday with the youth lifters. We saw a couple lifters come out that took weights that weren't theirs, and that's very common, especially if it's the same weight on the bar and there's just a difference in rack height there.
And if it's literally like their second meet, they get a little overzealous and they want to get out there.
Nice second attempt. Eric Truswell didn't slow down a bit. 2 white lights. We have 1 yellow light from the side, so maybe we saw the butt levitate a smidge, maybe we saw a heel come up. Let's see here.
Who threw the light? Left.
Yep, so looking on that left side there, that left judge saw might have seen the butt come up just a little bit. We couldn't necessarily see that view. The feet were kind of clouded there, but again, the referees do have a view that we don't, so they truly get the best spectacle for these bench presses. Here's Will Eckford, product of Texas A&M.
All right.
336. And as a 75-kilo lifter, so he's somewhere around the 160, 165 range. And so to be able to put up 336 is nutty, almost double body weight there. Now here's William Garcia coming back for round 2 of the bench press. Day 2 of the bench press, actually. He competed yesterday in the equipped portion. £336.
Come on. Nice.
Very strong.
Nice. Good lift for him.
Coming up next is Javier Melendez, 341 pounds. Also another one of our guest bench pressers.
I think the next 2 are. Yep. 7.5 kilo jump for him. No. Yeah, 7.5 kilo jump. Okay.
And for a bench press, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like anything over 5 kilos on bench press, to me, that's going to be a sizable jump. Like I said, because the heavier you go, the more or the closer that is to your relative top end strength. So those big jumps are going to inevitably become smaller and smaller and smaller. Here's Javier. Absolutely blown up.
Okay, so good call.
That's going to be a good lift, 2-1. And this time the right judge saw something iffy with that there. And again, not something immediately noticeable to us on this end, so we can only assume it's probably a butt coming up or a view of a butt coming up, heel coming up. And then the last person in the flight, but definitely not the least, Mr. Charlie Page, 407 pounds.
We have 3 reds on there now.
I don't know if y'all can hear Gina through the microphone, but this is over 2.5, almost over 2.5 times body weight. Charlie looking to turn the page here, 407 pounds. Here we go, and we get, like we see, Charlie Page, not necessarily the most technical of benchers, but definitely one of the strongest we've seen. Oh my gosh!
Wow. Wow.
I closed my eyes midway through the bench because I didn't want to look at it anymore.
So now the question will be,
where now?
Will it be another? Will it be? I mean, we're up 2.5, which isn't a huge jump, and that looked really good. Will he jump 5, or will he just settle with 175, 187.5? That's the
It'd
goal,
be
right?
really cool to see him go for 190 at the very least. Because if I dare I say, if he hits 2.5 kilos again, it'll probably move about the same.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he might just be one of those lifters where it just moves fast until it doesn't.
Right.
I have a couple lifters myself where they could be going, and as soon as we add another 5 pounds, boop,
Brick wall.
And folks, we're back to the top of the order here for our last round of bench pressing for this session.
BMCC's been lights out. They're killing it out there.
They are fast. Ezra Koppman. I like this view here, getting the good view of the chest. Fortunately not able to make full use of the sink there, but that is going to be a no lift. But Ezra is still on the board. He came away with 87.5 kilos. Noah Poole's coming up next with 220 pounds. He's a Team 1 lifter, like we said, between the ages of 14 and 15. And folks watching at home, I want you to think about all the 14 and 15-year-olds that you know. Think about your baby cousins, your nieces, your nephews, your neighbor kids. And then think about how many of them can bench press at least 200 pounds. And then ask them how many of them can bench press 225. I guarantee you none of them can. But Noah Poole can. Let's see what he can do. And he can do a lot more than that.
With ease. Wow.
Looked like a nice...
That
looked more like an opener than his opener did. Obviously a little bit slower in terms of the overall bar velocity, but in terms of the ease, beautiful. All right, here's Isai Rojas Ramirez.
So I'll answer the question about the tape on the singlet. A lot of times we'll have singlets that come up that have logos that aren't approved or things of that nature, and because they're not approved, we need to tape them over. You know.
And we do have an approved list of allowed logos for USA Powerlifting. It's one of the common things, especially at the meet director level, that meet directors can kind of allow logos and stuff like that on the platform, but when they come to a national stage like this, they're not allowed to showcase that.
Correct.
And so we want to be sure we're upholding that standard on all levels. And we always want to refer to the approved logo list that is provided by USA Powerlifting. If you have any questions for anything that could be on your singlet or on your t-shirts.
But we also encourage people to form clubs and become
absolutely make your own logos.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I did.
And then you can actually have a team to come compete, and in our results database, you can look that team up, and then you can see all of your roster and what they've done. You know.
Bars loaded up next for Mr. Nicholas Kurtz, 242 pounds. Nicholas Kurt's going to have to get some help from the spotters there.
Got credit on a second attempt.
Up next is Mr. Lemmy. He did miss that 117.5 kilo bench press on that second attempt, so we're going to try and retake it for the third. That's 259 pounds for the men's 75 kilo weight class. And now this is one of those situations where after a missed attempt, we wouldn't go up in weight, especially if it was on strength. And remembering Lemmy's second attempt bench, I do believe it was on strength. So we'll see if he's able to find his way. Very close grip, very long way to go. Almost master grip is what we call it. Looked good to me in terms of the ascent. Hopefully the body stayed in contact. And it did, 2-1. So Lemmy is able to come away with that 117.5 kilo press, and then coming off to a nice little pep talk by the powerlifting pirate, Gino. What's his last name?
Who? Gino?
Gino's.
Biancari.
Been trying to pronounce his name for the past 7 years.
Biancari.
Coming up next is Mr. Markham Leventhal.
Yeah, fast forward, rewind. I love it.
Now, Markham, we did miss that opening attempt there for commands, but went up in weight to 5 kilos, moved just as well. Then playing it safe bet, trying to get as much weight on the total as we can, only going up 2.5 kilos to 259 pounds.
It's a bold move, Cotton.
Squeeze it and finds the way off the chest. Those elbows just got a little bit too flared out.
Yep.
And another thing, too, we saw the shoulders kind of come out from underneath him as well. And when you lose the tension in the shoulders, you lose your ability to stack or really drive your shoulders into the bench, and you just end up sliding out, losing your arch, and it's all downhill from there, unfortunately. So Markham Leventhal only able to get his second attempt there at 115 kilos. But up next, Mr. Lee Rogers.
I think one of the most underdeveloped pieces for a bench presser is the shoulders. And if
Absolutely.
Especially
the rear delts.
Yeah, because you think it's not in the front part of your body, you're not utilizing it. That is a mechanical piece that's going to come into play for sure when you're transitioning to lockout. Lat pull downs, all that stuff is going to be a benefit.
Super important.
It's a good view right there. Made it look super easy.
One thing I do with some of my lifters is when I'm programming accessories, let's say I have them do a lat pull down or something like that, I'll put a note in their program and I'll be like, hey, set up for this like you're setting up for a bench press. So put your hands on the bar and think about pulling in, arching the back, driving the lats forward. That way it's that much more transferable to an actual bench press when it comes time to hit the national stage.
It's kind of how when I'm doing like a cable pull down, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm pulling my chest up and pulling that weight to it.
There's Mr. Robert Granko, 275 pounds. And now if you're watching the bottom of the screen, folks, if you're looking at our heads-up display at the bottom there, you are seeing kind of an interesting attempt selection here.
Does it work? Nope.
Unfortunately, it's not going to go. So that was a very interesting attempt selection there. We went from 112.5 up to 2.5 kilos for that second attempt, and then 10 kilos from 115 to 125. Now, I wonder if there was maybe a timeout issue. Maybe he timed out putting his next attempt, and in that regard, the score table will automatically go up 2.5 kilos.
Yeah.
It could be just another game plan that Robert Granko had. Fortunately, he was only able to get that 115. Up next is Mr. James Pui. Going for the elusive 314-pound bench. And just for James, we're going to call this 315.
Yeah, round it
because
up.
decimals don't matter.
There's chalk and dust on there.
Well, see, if you factor in the acceleration due to gravity.
Yes.
Here's James Pui. It's going to be a no lift as well.
Nope.
It's very hard to overcome once you start falling back towards your head. It's very, very hard because at that point it's a stabilizer exercise on top of a bench press.
Losing tightness.
Here's Manny Prito looking to go 3 for 3 here. Going up 7.5 kilos. Even jumps across the board here, 325 pounds. Bar is loaded. Manny Prito getting psyched up for this last bench attempt here. And he does no lift off. So he lifts the bar off all by himself. And that may be the way he trains. He may feel stronger with the self lift off. He might not want to add in that extra variable because it is an extra variable. That spotter lifting off the bar for you, that's another thing you have to account for.
Especially if you don't know the person's doing it.
Exactly. And when you're explaining it to them in 5 seconds, it might not be exactly how you want it. But Manny Prito ensuring that this bench is how he wants it.
Yep.
The lift is good. Manny Prito. What a celebration. The scream to throwing up the heart might be one of the best transitions I've ever seen. I am a big fan of that. Got up next, Mr. Eric Truswell, our guest lifter for the day, coached by Barbell Medicine. giving us the nice Mew angle, the nice blue steel.
Blue steel. Wow. I don't know who caught that reference out there.
You forget, Jan, I'm cultured. I know a good bit.
I'm just wondering who else has ever watched Zoolander.
First it was the Judas Priest, now it's a Zoolander reference. And then you made a dodgeball reference earlier.
Yes.
I've been the only one making those. I'm very happy someone else made that one. Here's Eric.
I've been waiting to throw it in. Nice
Eric
execution.
Truswell, nice bench there. BBM, Barbell Medicine, stands for Big Bench Man. Eric Truswell, 152.5 kilos goes down in flames. Up next is Mr. Will Eckford, representing Texas A&M Powerlifting. Again, one of the stalwart teams, one of the biggest powerlifting teams in all of USA Powerlifting. They always have a massive presence at collegiate nationals, over 30, 40, 50 lifters sometimes. You can kind of see all the names on the bottom of the shirt there.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole crew of them there.
All right, here's Will Eckford getting set up there. We've got the split cam view. Shout out to both Bryce Lewis and Kevin Lamb and the Barbell Productions team for these angles.
Come on.
Fades towards the head, but he's able. Oh, he got that one arm.
It's like once it started dipping or it didn't move, and if you get stuck in that spot, that's a lot of adversity to overcome, especially when you're down that low.
All right, coming up right behind Mr. William Garcia. And after Will, we've only got 3 more benchers before we are all set for this session today. Coming up next here, Mr. Will Garcia. Looking to go 3 for 3 on bench. I believe he went 2 for 3 on bench yesterday.
I think so.
In the equipped portion.
I believe so.
And we were talking about yesterday, it's a lot easier to miss weight or to miss an attempt in equipped only because you're not just factoring in your raw strength and your technique, but you're also factoring in the shirt. And that is a huge, huge obstacle. Come on, Will. Find your way. Find your way. Very solid attempt there for William. Also going 2 for 3 for this round, but that is okay. Coming up right behind is Mr. Winston Suni, then Javier Melendez, and Charlie Page. Winston Suni here.
We only started this, 2 hours ago? Whew.
341 big ones on the bar for him. And this will put him into first place with this attempt. This will take him over Manny Prito. And it's slow and steady on the way up. The bar didn't dip one bit, but did the butt stay on the bench?
That's the question, right?
Will it put him in first place? And it does.
Wow.
He is the 67.5 kilo. Or actually, nope, you're right. He is the 67.5 kilo bench press champion. He did beat out Manny Prito by just a few pounds.
And Manny took first with his attempt, and he regained it back.
Excellent work there for Javier Melendez. Or sorry, this is Javier Melendez. Excellent work there for Mr. Winston Suni. Javier Melendez is going for 358 pounds. Now, both of our lifters, our last 2 lifters are in the guest category, so they're not in the running for any placings or anything like that. So now they're just trying to get the benches. And unfortunately, Javier could not find his way out of that sticking point there.
One more bench attempt.
That's right, folks. One more bench attempt, and we are out of here. And they are loading those reds up. Well, out of here for a little bit. Out of here to get some quick grub.
We're going to do it again in another hour and a half.
Here's Charlie Page, 418 pounds.
Love seeing it.
So we saw a 2.5 kilo jump from first to second, and it moved about the same. So we were hoping he was going to take between a 5 kilo jump to a 7. He elected to go 5 kilos to 418 pounds. So we will see.
Taking 190 at 76 keys.
76 kilos, ladies and gents. That's, like we said, that's between 160 and 165. And he's got almost 420 pounds in his hands. Good catch there, taking the thumb
He
loops
did it
off
himself. Guess the TC didn't pay attention to that. I haven't seen many people rocking the Inzer singlet this weekend.
there. I'm here for it, though.
OG.
Come on, Charlie, turn the page on this last one. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Now, to be honest, based off of that, now we saw how much slower that was with just a 5-kilo jump. I think another 2.5 might have been
Probably that would have
much.
been a call.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for all of our action of the bench press. And boy, did we see some crazy weight across the board. I mean, Charlie Page obviously right here with this 418-pound bench.
To finish with that's
We see the reactions on the spotters as well.
Like, we don't have to lift it ourselves.
Even going to our first flight today with some of our ladies, I mean.
So I'm going to do my own sign-off right now because I have to go do
Oh, you got to go do things?
Yes.
Okay.
But I appreciate being here and hanging out with you, Nick. So thank you for listening at home. Even though I may not contribute a lot, I like being here and I like talking about the sport and giving people guidance on finding things and finding information and whatnot. So maybe I'll be able to do it again this weekend. Who knows? So I'm going to let Nick finish. We're watching the highlight reel right now, so you can kind of pay attention to that. We're going to do awards, and you can join us again at 11:30 for the final session of Raw Bench Nationals.
That's right. Bye, Jan.
See you.
Oh, you heard him right, folks. That's going to be, like I said, we're going through our highlight reel, and we've seen some phenomenal bench pressing today. I mean, just looking at some of our ladies, Nadia Mumin going for well over 300 pounds. Manny Prito in the battle between him and Winston Suni. Great battles across the board here. Solid benches across the board here. A lot more made attempts than not made attempts in this one, especially coming towards that third flight. We've had world records attempted, world records broken. I mean, point blank period, Miss Helene. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. We're going to go ahead and get everything switched out, ready to go for the next session. We'll see you shortly.